Keira Walsh is a Chelsea women's football player, and in her limited time on the pitch so far for the team, she has already shown exactly why Chelsea needed her. One benefit that comes from Chelsea playing West Ham less than 1 month apart, first on January 12th and again on February 5th, is that we get to see a perfect before and after of what Chelsea looked like versus West Ham without Keira Walsh and how they looked with Keira Walsh. In this clip on January 12th, we see a really good depiction of how Chelsea has typically operated working from back to front, which is frequent utilization of their wing players. And look, Chelsea is incredibly effective at this approach. The speed at which the team transitions from passing it amongst the back line to launching a direct attack in the final third leaves many teams unable to keep up, as was witnessed by West Ham several times during this match. The fullbacks and wing players like JRK and Sandy Baltimore play a key role in the attack, whether it's through their own deep runs along the touchline, or it's their link-up play with the interior players like Siaka Niskan, Aaron Cuthbert, Kat Macario, or Myra Ramirez. This approach to the attack, when executed very well, can be an efficient and direct way of playing, an approach that Sonia has indicated is key versus teams like Arsenal and Manchester City, where efficiency is important when the opposition are likely to hold more of the possession. But of course, this video is about why Chelsea needed Keira Walsh. And as effective as Chelsea can be when attempting to build their attack up the wing, there's something glaringly obvious in the clips I've been showing. And that is the frequent lack of an option to play through the middle of the pitch when starting their attack. We can see the huge gaps between Hannah Hampton, Natalie Bjorn, Millie Bright, and Chelsea's more deep-sitting midfielders, typically Aaron Cuthbert and Siaka Niskan. Without one of Cuthbert or Niskan regularly dropping back to make themselves available for an outlet pass, it effectively limits the number of ways to play out. And so what this has resulted in is many instances where opposing teams try to prevent or limit Chelsea's use of the wing, as they know this is an area of biggest strength for Chelsea. Examples are seen here where it becomes evident that although this style of attack can be efficient and direct if you pull it off, if you're unable to execute it, it frequently results in Chelsea quickly conceding possession back to the opposition. Unsurprisingly, in Chelsea's matchups this season versus Manchester City and Arsenal, two teams that are very ball dominant, Chelsea have found themselves under 50% possession in all three matches, including only having 36% possession versus Manchester City. Now, I know some may say, well, this doesn't matter because Chelsea still beat Manchester City and Arsenal this season. But the next step for Chelsea is to win Champions League, and top teams like Lyon and Barcelona can be extremely clinical in front of net. Thus, there's a risk to allow them to hold a significant amount of possession. And so this is why Keira Walsh is an important addition to this team. On the left is a screenshot of a play I previously showed in which Hannah Hampton really only has Millie Bright to her left or Natalie Bjorn, who's just outside of this shot, to her right to pass to. Contrast that with the screenshot on the right, which is from February 5th, and you can see what Keira Walsh can bring, an option to play through the middle. In this first video, we can clearly see neither Millie, Hannah, or Nat has an option to play through the middle, and so the only options are either to send it long or get it out to the wing. But on the right, when the ball comes to Hampton, Walsh immediately drops deep to get the ball, and now the attack is essentially starting with her. In this play, Keira passes the ball to Niskan, but depending on Micah's movement, she can also be an option for Keira. And of course, Walsh can still send it out to Neve or switch it to Bronze if Chelsea still want to utilize the wing. There are just more options. Again, we see Keira just constantly making herself available for Chelsea's back line. And when she gets the ball from Hampton, she's aware of her surroundings, knows to turn and quickly pass it to Niskan, who sends a nice pass out to Guro Reiten. Keira Walsh is a natural general, frequently pointing to where the ball should go or letting players know when they should calm and settle things down. She's also an extremely composed player. There have been moments this season where Chelsea's defense looked unorganized and flustered, giving possession back to the opposition. In this clip, Millie Bright undercooks the pass to Natalie Bjorn, putting her in a difficult position. Keira, however, immediately recognizes the bad pass and moves into position to be support. She eventually gets the ball from Micah, and rather than rush and clear the ball in a panic, she remains calm, passes it to Bjorn, and the team is able to get themselves out of a situation that could have been potentially tricky. Now this next play I had to include because when I saw it in real time, I thought it was a thing of beauty to see the composure from Ashley Lawrence, JRK, and Micah Hamano to play out of the pressure. But another reason I wanted to show it was again to highlight the importance of Keira Walsh's presence. If we imagine this scenario without Walsh, Micah would have to try and beat the two West Ham players, and while it's possible, there's an increased risk she loses the ball. But with Keira Walsh always finding the open space to make herself available, Micah is easily able to pass it to her, and Chelsea can reset their offense. Keira Walsh's constant movement also helps to facilitate Chelsea's possession through the midfield. Here we see her draw Assayi out of position as she moves with Walsh. This movement allows Hannah to send a pass through the middle up to Myra, as the space previously occupied by Assayi was free due to her tracking Walsh's movement. And then can we just appreciate the beautiful one-touch crossfield pass by Seal here? Walsh's role in this clip, on first glance, may seem minor, but she's directly influencing the team's ability to move up the pitch in more creative ways. And while Chelsea hasn't quite got to experience just how good a passer Keira Walsh is, this is an area of her game that Chelsea's attackers will also greatly benefit from. Keira Walsh is one of the best passers in women's football, and no doubt is now the best passer on Chelsea. Lastly, although Chelsea can be a bit inconsistent with their press, they are generally a team that likes to put pressure on their opponents to win the ball back as quickly as possible. And this is also something that Keira Walsh will be able to help Chelsea with. Against West Ham, you could see the clear frustration Walsh's pressure was causing for Shakira Martinez and Viv Assayi. Keira Walsh is not the most flashy player, and everything she does on the pitch may not always show up on the stat sheet. But when you take the time to watch how she operates, there should be no question as to why a team like Chelsea wanted and needed her. She's a deep-lying playmaker with exceptional vision, pinpoint passing, and composure under pressure. She can dictate the tempo of the game and be the important link between defense to attack with her distribution. For a team like Chelsea that was already excelling in their wing play, Keira's calm presence and ability to control possession in the midfield will take Chelsea's game to the next level and put them in a stronger position to try and challenge for their first Champions League title.